something that had a really, really good sound to it. Close the face a little bit at the bottom, but I can feel how much easier this is for me to change direction and how much power this is building up in my backswing without me. All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be diving into a topic right here that I would tell you that separates great ball strikers from average to poor ball strikers, and why golf swings such as Adam Scott's, etc., look as easy as they do and how they can generate as much speed as they do. Let's dive into it. So the first thing that I would say in regards to this is I don't think commentators on TV give enough justice for when they say things. Let's say they say Adam Scott's golf swing looks like it's so easy and he creates so much speed. And then we look at amateur golfers that put incredible amounts of effort into making the golf ball go far, and it looks like they're trying really hard and they're producing almost nothing. I think this is probably one of the most important videos that I will ever put out on the internet because of how many people it can help if you understand this principle that we're going to dive into now. All right, the trail leg. I think this is one of the most important relationships in understanding how we can create effortless speed, torque, power, pressure shift, low point control, how to even say how to turn properly. There's a lot of things that go into this that I don't think enough of us look into. And so the first thing that I would say is understanding alignments that we need to be in, okay? So we have our hip joint, we have our knee joint, and we have our ankle joint. This alignment right in here, I think, is one of the most important pieces that we actually maintain from a frontal plane view or from a face-on view in the golf swing. So when we look at this, this is really a piece that I think sets us up for being able to move pressure back forward, managing length of motion, managing width, and creating what I would call counterforce, okay? So if we think about it like this, we've all been told we need to turn more, which rotation is really, really important. I totally agree with that, okay? But it's how do we turn more? And are we turning properly to where we're creating what I would call energy, okay? So when we look at this alignment here between the ankle, the knee, and the hip, think about like a speed skater right here. If they need to get themselves to shoot down an ice rink this direction as fast as possible, what you'll notice is they plant their skate like this. They're going to then be pushing the opposite direction they want to move. And if you look at the alignments of this, they're pushing this way. You're not going to see a speed skater out over here trying to turn to get themselves forward quick enough, okay? I don't think there's enough time, and I think we lose stability and we lose a connection with the ground. That's my opinion, okay? So when we look at this alignment right here, here's what happens when we start to actually do it correctly versus incorrectly, okay? As I'm starting to wind up my backswing right here, this doesn't look like there's very much moving, but now if I release the tension in my foot, that's the amount of torque that I am actually creating against the floor as the center of my pelvis is moving into my trail leg, okay? As my chest starts to turn, as my shoulders start to abduct and adduct around the spine or turn around the spine, we'll use easy words here, okay? All of that right there is producing torque in my trail side, but it's pushing enough to also help me maintain my center, which then becomes very easy with the amount of torque for me to get myself moving back forward early enough. This is the piece I can't stress enough. I see amateurs out there all the time, whether it be online lessons that I'm doing or in-person lessons, and they're telling me that they've been instructed they need to turn a lot more, and their interpretation of this word that I think is used too freely in golf, their interpretation of turn is this. Well, now how's my joint alignments looking right there? How am I going to ever produce and get back to this point effectively and be able to change direction and be able to get my arms back out in front of me? I think it becomes really hard. So when we see the player, they're trying really hard doing this and they have no control of low point. They're really not producing that much energy. And really, at the end of the day, the only lever that they get to use is basically how hard are they throwing their wrist to try and not hit behind the golf ball. So here's a piece that I like that I think is really important. If you watch my right leg here, when I hit this shot, okay, it doesn't mean I need to angle my foot in, but what it does mean is I need to have a connection against the floor that as I start to move my shoulders and my arms and my pelvis rotation back, I have a torque right there and a tension that's going to help get me forward, okay? It's what allows me, I think, still to this day, if you watch how simple this movement looks with my trail leg, it's what allows me to still produce a fair amount of speed without putting a lot of effort into it. So if you watch this right in here, that to me was an unbelievably good golf shot, and it felt like I did nothing. Now, am I shifting into this still? Absolutely, but my shift is being offset by my push to keep this alignment intact right here. I'm not over shifting to the point that I can't counter that by pushing myself back forward. Now, this is gonna be a piece right here that's hard for a lot of us to actually feel. I'm gonna give you a drill right here. It's very simple, and I think it'll really help out from a connection standpoint. I hope you're enjoying today's video, and if you like the way that I explain things, I'd challenge you, head over to my Skillest platform where I do all of my online coaching. Here you can send me swings, and you're going to be receiving tour level advice, the same that I would give to the players that I coach, individualized to you. No gimmicks, no secrets, just real coaching. Click on the link below. Now we'll head back to the video. All right, so here's what I have right here. I have a band, so it's a workout band that is elastic, and this one is pretty firm. Like it's a pretty firm band right here that I can actually feel resistance in. So all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place this between my two legs here. Okay, so now what I'm doing is this gives me the ability to feel resistance. If I start to relax everything, my knees are gonna come too far together. So really what it's helping me kind of do is spread and twist myself out against the floor. It's engaging more muscle groups in my legs. And from here, I'm gonna try and maintain the stretch in this as I'm turning and feeling how this right leg is actually torqued against the ground right here. So at first, a lot of you are gonna feel like this is fairly robotic, okay? It's not me just saying don't move and just lift your arms. We're still turning, we're just turning against a pivot point. Once we get into this takeaway right here, this pivot point right here is pushing pressure the opposite direction that I want to go as I'm turning. And what you'll feel like is I'm doing this right here, my right glute is on fire because I'm now rotating more so the center of my pelvis into this leg, and I can feel a very distinct sting right here that I could never figure out when I was younger, how everybody would say you need to have a firm right glute or you need to load into the right leg, and I didn't quite understand what that meant, and the only way I could do it is if I sat right here. I was like, okay, that's it. Then I was like, what am I gonna do from here? This is how I've been able to do it with tour players that I work with amateurs that I work with, and I think it's a very simple drill that brings a lot of awareness to what we need to feel in the actual backswing. And as we start to get better at it, we can start to speed up the backswing, okay? So I'll run you through this to where you can see this here. So I'm feeling that my hip, my knee, and my ankle stay in line as I'm turning to the top right here. Then we'll let it go. That was another really good golf shot right there. And it just brings a sense of awareness for me to what's actually happening against the floor. Here's the reason I like the feet, is I can feel what's happening up against my feet. I can feel where I'm moving against the ground. I can feel side to side. I can feel in and out. I can feel directional movements. I can feel up and down, okay? So that's one of the things I'd say I like about the feet. It's not saying that I want you to get into the ground and jump out of the ground as much as possible, but really when we look at it, it's using that trail leg right there as a post that I can basically now start to rip something up against. So I can rip this up against this post right here, okay? The alignments stay the same, and this really helps me get my pressure back forward and finish my golf swing the way that I want. So I'll demonstrate this again one more time. Same thing, that had a really, really good sound to it. Close the face a little bit at the bottom, but I can feel how much easier this is for me to change direction and how much power this is building up in my backswing without me getting way behind it and without me trying to over rotate anything to where I have zero chance, I shouldn't say zero, but next to no chance of hitting the golf ball solidly. So take this video to heart. I think this is one of the most important ones I will ever put out online right here. I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions on this whatsoever, please leave those in the comments down below. I'll make sure I get back to each and every one of you. Thanks again for your support. I appreciate you watching. See you next time.